Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, adults of all ages, welcome to the Sideshow.
What's up, people? Doing something new.
I'm excited.
We're gonna put this on the new channel.
The new channel.
The new channel.
I'm getting goosebumps again. It's like starting the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've created a reaction channel. So if you're watching this, it's on the reaction channel. Although I'm going to post it everywhere that it needs to get posted, so we can get followers and views and hours watched, because that'll allow us to monetize and do all that nonsense, so that this channel will get up to par with the other one. However, we created this channel so that we can separate our emails and the relationship help. Although this will still have relationship undertones, because reaction videos are reaction videos. Is that you or me?
I'm moving it.
So we are trying to include other facets of our lives for your entertainment. So we want to do reaction videos. We might do movie reviews. You could do skincare. We can do everything that we want to do on YouTube and it not be part of the To Be Better like main channel, but still part of the To Be Better universe.
Right.
The To Be Better Nation.
That's wild.
See what I did there?
I do see what you
Hashtag
did.
To Better Nation. To Be Better Nation. So we're going to do reaction videos. This will be the first one that's recorded for this channel. And then we can start doing some other things, book reviews, whatever we really want to record and talk about it that way.
Movie
So
reviews, hypothetical apocalypse situations.
definitely want to do that.
That would be so much fun.
That would be a fun conversation. I think that in the event that we do the apocalypse thing, we should create scenarios.
Oh, I already have like
For each other.
a medicinal list going on of like plants and shit that I might need.
Right. No, I meant along the lines of this is the apocalyptic scenario.
Okay.
You have a volcano. The world's covered with ash.
Oh, like a Pompeii
It's
situation.
breaking down societal rule without law, world without a rule of law, blah, 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 blah.
Day 1, what are you doing?
Right.
What's
That-
your goal for day 10? Okay, I'm here for this.
Right.
Oh man, I'm gonna get stupid stoned for those conversations.
I think they'd be fun. So
That'd be a lot of fun.
before we get into the reaction thing, do you have anything that you want to talk about this channel?
No.
Okay. I would like to add that even though, dude, my phone won't stop. Even though we are on the To Be Better reaction channel, you can still access our Patreon and Discord and all that stuff by going to the. I guess you should probably just put all that in the descriptions here too.
Yeah. I
Okay.
agree with that.
So AJ, you know now that you know that we should do that too. For everybody that wants to follow our main account, it's To Be Better. Just in case you happen to find this because of YouTube's algorithm and not our actual account bringing you here. I have to work on that.
The reason why marriages today are in trouble is because people think it's the end goal instead of the starting point. Rewind! You think you won the race when no, that is just the registration table. You know what I'm saying? There is a marathon to continue. And when we celebrate, so we celebrate the wedding and the pictures and we do all this hype, and then after you do that big payoff, now it's what's next. A lot of us spent more time planning the wedding, what the colors was gonna be, who our bridesmaid and groomsmen, but we didn't go to therapy before. We didn't actually map out the plan. We said those traditional vows that wasn't even specific to us. We didn't even make a covenant with each other. We didn't make a contract. We didn't have the emergency procedures. So my point is, I want everybody to think about that. Marriage is not the end goal, it's the starting point. The end goal is not me marrying you. The end goal is me dying married to you.
Okay.
I love that.
So did I. I saw that shit, saved it, and was going to duet it on TikTok. And I'm like, you know what? We need to save this for reaction. And that's what a lot of these are. We're just videos with content that I was like, people need to
Yes.
fucking hear this. That marriage is not the end goal thing is something that I've been thinking about a lot, because in the event that people actually do the foundation and the courting and the dating and they figure out what they want to do with their lives, and then they find the person and they do the therapy and they do that and they get married. Marriage is always the end goal of dating. You want to get married with somebody and then spend the rest of your life with them. There is so much fucking work that has to go into the rest of your life. And that if you are only focused on the marriage aspect and getting to that point, everything that happens past that is going to be drama if you don't fucking plan accordingly. And we talk all the time about the contracts and expectations and laying everything out so you guys know how to navigate things when you come to them. But it is the fucking starting point.
It is.
That video, I did the same thing that dude did when he was like, "Ooh!"
Yeah.
That was me in the house out loud because I was like, "Oh shit, I got to hear that again," and I started the video back over.
Yeah.
When you look at, like he said, the marriage as a starting point, you should be trying to level and grow together. It's no longer a you thing. It's no longer keeping score as to who does what. It's literally the two of you trying to work together as a team to have the best possible life you can together. Do you have anything that you want to add to that? Because dude said it all. Like,
Yeah,
I
I
really
mean-
just put that on there because people needed to hear it.
Yeah. When you look at it that way, the dating's a training.
Yeah. Ooh, that's a good one.
That's you training, getting ready for your marathon.
Basic training.
Literally. Like you're learning how to cope with running for 3 miles straight.
Yeah.
And you have that, I'm going to win that fucking medal in your mind. The wedding is the registration table.
Yeah.
You are with somebody, you're like, okay, we're going to run this together. Like you and I, it's us, it's it. And then the marathon is your life together in your marriage. And that medal is you dying married to that person. You guys fucking did it.
I was listening to Real AF. I'm a huge fan of Andy Frisella. I'm not ashamed of that. I'm not, you know, I fucking would share his podcast. I used to share it to my Facebook all the time. I love his content. He was talking today, literally this morning, about people who are highly competitive sports, like athletes, get into, you know, Super Bowl level, like highly competitive athletes, get done with their career and end up killing themselves or falling apart, getting addicted to drugs and like losing that thing that makes them competitive, that makes them train and keeps them busy and focused. And then not having that anymore, it kind of ruins their lives. So if you are dating and courting so that you can get married and that's your focus and you haven't done all the other work, the same aspect's going to happen in your marriage because you've been so worried about getting to that point that once you have it, the next step is foreign.
Right.
And you haven't done the work on how you need to move on to make that thing a success. I just thought it was relevant, I guess.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Okay. Anything else on that one?
No,
'Cause
that was good.
some of these are just going to be literally just me being, I want you guys to hear this, so here it is.
Yeah.
Some of this is conversation piece. If you need me to pause at any point, just tell me. Also, I know that I'm looking off camera because we're not in our other room doing these yet. We will have another podcast room set up for reactions probably in the next month. But for right now, it's going to look real weird until then. So don't make it weird.
Thinking it's like cheating or doing something major, but it's actually not. The real thing that predicts divorce, they find all studies that found that 90% of divorces can be predicted by this. It's when your partner is trying to connect and you reject them. What I mean by this is say
So we've talked about this in length, and it was an actual study done on a university campus that was made up to be a bed and breakfast. And the person doing the study said that with accuracy, they can predict 70 to 90% of people's divorce rates. It was somewhere in that number. She said 90%. I don't think it was actually that high. I want to say it was like 70 to 75% accuracy. Whether or not people will stay together indefinitely based off of the way the partner acknowledges the request for attention. So if a car goes by and I'm like, look at that old ass car, and you're like, yeah, whatever, and you just keep eating, I'm going to stop eventually trying to get your attention and have that kind of conversation with you. And we're not going to,
There's no connection.
right, that the attention that I'm seeking from you is not going to be validated. And she's going to get into that too, but that's an actual study that was done on a college campus. It was talked about in a couple of the books that I read. And I always have a hard time remembering that request for attention because it's such a weird thing to say. But that's how they word it in the book.
You know, those requests for attention, when you shut that down repeatedly, that's how emotional cheating can happen. Because my wife, Sue, is ignoring me every time I say, hey, babe, look at that car. You know I'm really into cars. Just tell me that looks nice.
Right.
But Becky at work has a 1970 whatever. That's something that we now connect on.
Right.
She's going to get that need filled by somebody else when it's denied in the relationship.
Yep. That smile that you just got from that message is because our To Be Better t-shirts are done.
Oh, shit.
for example, your partner comes home from work and is like, oh, I'm so tired. And you turn around and say, why are you tired? What have you done all day? That creates distance. Or if they say, I want to watch this, and your partner's like, you watch shit shows, instead of saying, all right, cool, we'll watch it. It's little things like when they're trying to connect with you, do you respond and be like, all right, cool.
I'm sorry, it was request for connection. That's what that was called. Request for connection, not a request for attention. Also, that's a very valid point. If I walk in and I'm like, man, I'm fucking tired. And you're like, why? You sat at a desk all day long. Why are you tired? You didn't do nothing. Or if I came in and you said the same thing and I was like, you're a stay-at-home wife. How fucking hard is your life? Just because I've had a hard day or I believe my day is harder than yours doesn't invalidate yours.
Right.
And taking that 5 seconds to listen to what your partner says, hearing it, validating the way that they feel and just saying, look, I understand that you're tired. That sucks. Let's watch movie together. Like, we don't have to have a hard night. We can relax. You're going to get a very different outcome in terms of longevity with your partner in that route. Because eventually, if I am negative like that every single time I'm negative, or every single time you bring something to me, you're not going to bring it to me anymore. And eventually there's going to be a bitterness that's had or an animosity that's had towards me because you can't talk to your partner anymore. Because every time you do, I'm like, why? Why are you tired? You didn't fucking do nothing today.
Right.
There's going to be a whole lot of problems there.
I'll watch it with you, or do you say your programs are shit and you create that non-responding to their emotional connections? It doesn't mean men and women, it's anybody. So if you see your partner sad and you don't even look at them, whereas a partner that says, hey, what's wrong with you, and responds to it immediately, responding to each other's bids for connection is what leads to a happy relationship. And people who don't, it's disconnect. And there's a slow divorce. Then it leads to cheating. Then it leads to looking somewhere else because you're feeling like my partner doesn't see me.
It's exactly what you said.
That's it,
It's like your
yeah.
partner doesn't see you. You haven't seen these yet.
No, I haven't.
So when anything that she says that gets reiterated in the video, it's because you
I know
thought
what I'm
it,
talking
right,
about.
not because you watched the video first.
Yeah.
That request for connection and being denied is an intimacy killer. And it works both ways for men and women. Your partner should be on some level emotionally invested the way that you are in things. So if your partner has a hobby, even if you think it's stupid, if your significant other, I'm trying so hard not to say partner, if your spouse, significant other, the person that you love is into Legos, and they think that Legos are just the coolest thing ever, and you think it's a stupid child's toy, and they build this giant fucking city, pretend. This is so fucking dope. I can't believe you spent all this time on all this. Blah, blah, blah. Talk to him about it.
Would you look at that?
Yeah, how did you do this? I love the color coordination. Blah, 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 blah.
You even got lights in there? Damn.
Yep. You're going to get a very different outcome from your partner or from your significant other in those long-term scenarios when you are invested in those things. It shows that you care enough about them to care about their hobbies, even if you really don't.
Right.
Anything on that one? I feel like we're going to like, oh shit kind of reaction because we don't do those.
No.
How do I end? Because your self-worth was your ceiling. You will never, ever, ever, ever go higher than your level of self-worth.
I put this on here because we talk about self-worth on the podcast so much. And when he said that, I was like, bro, he's not wrong. If you believe that you can be a CEO and you believe that, and you believe that you are destined to do great things and you fucking do the work and you believe that, truly believe that, you'll go so much further than just that CEO because you believe in greatness and you believe you're capable of it. If you're in a relationship and you believe that, you know, you're just not quite up to par, or you have body image issues, or you may not be that good of a mom, or you may be failing in a way as a wife, and you start to create that negativity bias within yourself, you are limiting your own growth as a person, and in return, your marriage is going to suffer. Everything that you do comes down to what you believe you can or cannot do. It's that saying, whether you believe you can or you believe you can't, either way, you're right.
Right.
I saw this is another one that I just put on here because I wanted people to hear it.
Your earning potential, but they're masked.
So much in that whole scenario, and in that we've made video after video after video, and every time self-worth gets brought up, I get passionate about it. Lift your chin up, look yourself in the mirror, remind yourself who the fuck you are. Are you crying?
Yeah.
Why?
Because I needed that.
Did you? Okay, we're gonna do the thing.
What thing? No.
You're gonna have to elaborate on that. Why did that trigger you?
Don't make me practice what I preach. Because I am really struggling with having the presence that we do on the internet and feeling like I matter and that I am a part of something that matters. Most of my life, I haven't felt that way. and having so much reinforcement from people I don't fucking know, it's hard to believe that it's real. And the negative thoughts that I'm having are really affecting me. And because I'm going through what I'm going through, I know it's affecting you. And we had a conversation this morning, and I broke down crying specifically because of the negative thoughts that I'm having. And my self-worth is capped right now. And I'm going to have to increase my self-worth to get past what I'm going through, because deserve is not the right word, but I'm having a feeling of I have to accept that I am this person and I am helping the people the way that I'm helping people, and that we have built this thing together. This is us. Mm-hmm. And I am contributing. I do matter to a lot of people. And because I'm going through what I'm going through with the negative thoughts, earlier I made a joke that I shouldn't have made. And it's because I feel like because of what I'm going through right now, I don't deserve you. I feel like because I'm an emotional mess, that I'm hindering your life and I'm nothing more than a nuisance. And because of your past and everything that you've been through with other people, I am horrified of being that to you. So when I'm in moments like this and I'm really struggling with my mental health and I'm struggling with my self-worth, I feel like you can do better than me. And that joke that I made earlier was more of a self-deprecation thing than it had to do with us. And that was just me furthering putting myself down and lowering my own self-worth.
Well, I'm sorry that you got emotional on camera. This whole thing is, I've been telling you everything that he just said this entire time, and I want you to realize that this is not an us thing or a me thing. It's an us thing.
I know.
Like, this entire thing has been about how far we can go with all this. And I know that I'm a workaholic, and I know that I hyperfixate, and I know that I'm such a workaholic that I have hard times taking downtime. So on days that we don't do anything, I feel behind, and it makes me depressed because we could be doing something to better ourselves.
Right.
And I think the thing that sets me apart from other people is I won't do just the required amount of work. I'm going to do the required amount of work and a whole lot more every single time, because the further ahead I can get in that aspect, the better off we're going to be. AJ said that the reason he sent me a message this morning. He's like, you guys have so much more content than any creator that I've seen in 3 months doing what you guys are doing. And it dawned on me, it's because I'm willing to do 10 reps plus 5 if I can. Or if I get to 10 and I know I got 13 left in the tank, I'm going to 23.
Right.
Like, and it's no different in what we're doing here. Like you have to leave here at 3:30 to go pick the kids up. And it's like 2:45. And it was like 2:30 when we sat down or whatever. And I was like, I want to do this. Let's just go ahead and knock this out. We can get a reaction video done. Realistically, we should have stopped. And now we're putting in the effort to get this reaction video done. So that's 2 videos in a day. And that's my work ethic behind it. And though everybody thinks that I'm the workhorse behind everything, I think that you're the face of all of this. So you have a huge following in the Discord and Patreon. And this comes down to us playing to our strengths the same way that we do in our marriage. I'm going to be the workhorse in this, and I'm going to do all the things that you don't have time to do because it's my job. It's what I do. And if you can only sit down and record and you don't ever edit or do anything else, it doesn't matter. You're doing what you're capable of doing while I'm doing the things that I'm capable of doing while you're doing our life and while I'm running the business. And sometimes it's not going to look 100-100. Sometimes it's going to look 80-20, and that's okay.
I appreciate you being patient with me.
I think that I understand to you that this is a big thing.
It is. I'm really fucking going through it, yeah.
To me, it's really not. And I'm trying to be as supportive as I can be and not just be like, get over it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because I know it's such a big deal for you. And because I also know it's not that big of a deal to me, there are times where I'm like, I don't understand why she's even going through this, because this isn't a big deal. I got this. Like,
Right.
we got this.
Yeah, it boils down to my self-worth.
Right. But I also know that I can't just tell you to get over it and can't just tell you that, like, we got this and just be here. Like, I need to listen to you vent. And like I asked you this morning over and over and over again, what can I do to show you your worth and to help you get through this? And you're like, it's just a me thing. I have to get through it. And I'm like, well, then I can't get on the roller coaster with you anymore. When you come at me with the problems with this whole podcast thing, I just have to step back and let you vent. I can't offer solutions because I feel like I have the answers and you're not hearing them. And it's, you know, this podcast has become, it's not a problem per se. Like, we have hangups that we have to overcome, and we both have different hangups.
Right.
Yours just seem to be a lot bigger for you because you have a guilt thing going where you feel like you're not holding your weight. And I think you're doing phenomenal because you are doing a lot of things that's I don't have to do anymore, which allows me to do other things.
Yeah.
So you just got to get that self-worth up, babe.
I know. You still love me?
Of course I do.
Okay. I needed that. Thank you.
We just got 2 patrons back to back.
Oh, shit.
Yep. Ready for the next one?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
You want to wipe those tears off before I go?
No.
Any advice on removing and replacing those people in your life who don't want the best for you?
One thing you do have to realize at some point is that sometimes people need a wake-up call. And it's hard on them and it's hard on you, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's wrong for them.
I am such a fucking fan of Jordan B. Peterson.
Oh, yeah.
There was an interview he did, and the lady was like, what is one of your biggest pet peeves or something like that? And he's like, stupid people.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, bro, that's like 95% of the population because of your intelligence. Like, the fact that that's a hang up for you, I can't imagine how hard it must be to have his intelligence and walk around and have to deal with the rest of us.
Yeah.
Because I'm not very smart and there's a lot of dumb fucking people in the world. Mm-hmm. And to him, I would be one of those people. I don't envy that.
Yeah.
I love that he does things like this with his daughter. This was also one of those things I was like, oh, this is really relevant to the podcast. I should save this so that we can talk about it on a podcast. The amount of people that we have email us in that have in-laws that overstep, or best friends that overstep, or boyfriends, because they're not even fucking married, that are doing foul shit and they don't want to remove people from their lives or correct those people. This 100% is about setting your fucking boundaries and holding those accountable. If people do you dirty, you're not obligated to keep them in your life. To simply go, I'm good. You overstepped. Move the fuck on.
And don't care about their feelings because they clearly didn't care about yours when they crossed your boundary.
That's it. That's exactly it. They may feel guilty that you're upset.
But they don't feel guilty about doing it.
That's it. That's exactly it. And you guys got to learn to recognize the difference because there is a fucking difference between being sad that they got caught doing something or overstepping versus the reason they actually fucking...
Yeah.
You're letting people get away with things that aren't in their best interest. They're certainly not in your best interest. You put a halt to it. You don't want to allow non-reciprocal behavior to continue. And if you allow that to happen around you, then you're basically saying that it's okay. And it's not okay. It's not.
You treat people how to treat you. Mm-hmm. Right? In the event that you did something that I vehemently disagreed with, and instead of speaking up on it, I just shut up and let it happen.
It would happen again.
It would happen again and again and again. And it's going to progressively get worse because...
I don't mean to interrupt. Are you doing the side-by-side cameras for this? Okay.
Yeah. So once that transgression has happened and it was allowed to happen, the next transgression is going to be a little bit worse. Mm-hmm. And because I wasn't loud about the first one, the second one's going to be a little worse. I'm going to be quiet about that one too. And I'm being taught... I'm teaching you my boundaries by letting these things happen. So the worse it gets, eventually when I stand up and I'm like, I'm not going to take this anymore. This has all been a fucking problem for me. Now I'm an asshole because I'm finally fucking standing up for myself instead of checking that first transgression that wasn't really that big of a deal, but I let it slide. Mm-hmm. And as that shit comes down, eventually there's going to be a big blow up because I wasn't man enough to just go, hey, I'm not okay with that. Don't do that again.
You know, that can be over simple things too. Mm-hmm. Like, say it starts, I hate that I say like. Say it starts with, we go to bed together and I stay on my phone until 12 o'clock and then I roll over and cuddle you. You just let that slide. And then all of a sudden, I'm up until 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning texting my best friend Tim from work, but you never had an issue with it before and it just progressively gets worse.
Right.
I think everything is great in life.
Right, because you're just living your life, doing your thing.
And you've never said anything.
Yep.
And then 3 months into whatever's going on, you blow up on me. I'm going to feel like you've been lying to me. You know, not stating your boundaries is an omission in my mind. Does that correlation make sense? So I'm going to feel like there's going to be a certain level of deception, but I'm also going to feel like you really let me walk on you like this. I would feel like an absolute piece of shit when I thought I was just living my life doing absolutely nothing wrong.
Right. And there a whole lot of other things are going to happen there too, including the way you view me as a man.
Right.
Because I let you walk on me. And men, whether you want to acknowledge that or not, if your woman doesn't look at you as a man, you probably fucking did it to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You also have to acknowledge the fact that you would feel the way that you feel in that moment while I'm blowing up, and we are going to have a huge fucking fight over it, because instead of it just being about me telling you how I'm not okay with all these things, you're now feeling your emotion in that aspect too, and we are going to have fucking war.
Right.
Instead of just resolving that, hey, it's fucking midnight, can you put the phone down and like let's have some quality time?
Yeah.
You guys, you can't let those small transgressions slide. You need to know what you're okay and what you're not okay with. And it's not hard to just state these things when things are good. Saying, "Hey, it's midnight, babe. Let's put the phones down and just spend some time before we go to bed."
Right.
It's going to be a whole lot different than when there's animosity built up because you've been quiet for 3 months and this is a fucking problem for you. And now you're like, "Will you please put the fucking phone down?"
Right.
Very different conversation. Same outcome. Well, it would be a very different outcome because of your delivery, but you're aiming for the same outcome.
Right. Can we do pizza for dinner again?
Yes.
Oh, thank God.
Do you have anything else at this point? I just got my first email from a personal, like somebody that I actually know, thanking me for the podcast.
Holy shit.
Yep. Click, not click.
Click.
Okay for you. And so it's reasonable to set limits.
It's not just
I love this dude too. I don't even know his name. He's a preacher,
Oh, I know this guy.
but I love this dude's shit.
Yeah.
So anything else on the Jordan B. Peterson video?
So you said you love this guy, and I can't remember verbatim what Jordan B. Peterson just said, but it was along the line of it's okay to set limits.
Yes.
Set your fucking limits. If somebody has an issue with the limits you're setting in your own life, they don't belong in your life.
I agree. And this goes to the control thing too, because
Right.
if you set a boundary and somebody tells you that you're controlling because you set a boundary, next. Fucking next. Because,
delete, blocked, like you will not have access to me again to try to manipulate me, to manipulate the situation, make me feel guilty for standing up for myself and having self-worth. Get out of here.
Yeah. If you set a boundary and someone tells you that you're controlling because you have a boundary, it's okay to let them go.
Yeah.
Go live your life with somebody that's going to tolerate that, because I view that as disrespect. And if you're okay with that and I see it as disrespect, you and I are not going to have a future together, especially if we're early on in the dating phase.
Right.
If I see something as that's fucked up and I call you on it and you're okay with it being fucked up knowing that I feel that way, we're good. Go be fucked up to somebody else. I don't need that in my life.
Right. I'm going to make up a scenario that is a very real life scenario for a lot of people. So let's say we have a woman who's with a man who disrespects her, and she allows that disrespect to happen. So not only is he disrespecting you, in turn, you're disrespecting yourself.
Yeah.
His buddies are going to see that he's allowed to disrespect you, and now you're going to get ganged up on.
Yep.
And you're going to get shit on by him and all of his friends, and they're all going to be laughing at you. And it boils down to you're allowing yourself to be disrespected.
Yep. They're all going to laugh at you.
Yeah. Set the boundaries.
Oh, man.
Don't allow anyone to disrespect you. Have respect for yourself. Have your self-worth. And like you said, let them go.
Yep. It's real easy in the beginning. I'm not saying to do that shit. Will you message my mom real quick and say yes? We are. When we have these kind of conversations, I don't even remember where that was going. Her text message just sidetracked me.
Okay. Sorry, you messaging
Yeah,
her?
I got it. I don't remember where I was going with that. Sorry, guys. Might have been a really good thought for you there.
Yeah.
Now the world will never know. Anything else?
No.
Click.
Click.
about serving your spouse, but being a servant of your spouse. There's a big difference between serving and being a servant. Serving means you're doing something. A servant is you're doing what they need. Because you can be doing something, but it's not what they need.
That falls into, I was the perfect housewife, but were you his perfect housewife?
Yep. So I have a t-shirt that says Savage Servant on the front of it. And I went to try to buy it because the guy that coined that phrase, like I was trying to find a shirt by him so that I could support him. But I didn't find one I liked, so I had one made.
Right.
I have my own Savage Servant shirt, and I'll probably make them for the podcast again because I really like this narrative.
Right.
If you are a servant to somebody, because you're supposed to serve your husband or your wife, and you are servient to them, doing that is providing the things that they need.
Right.
Right. And to be a savage means that you're willing to go above and beyond and be a fucking lion when you have to, while still serving your family. So there's the way that all of that was explained to me, like I took a whole fucking lesson from that and like tried to implement it in my life. But to think that this dude is on stage talking about being a servant to your significant other and trying to make sure that you are upholding your vows in marriage, because you're supposed to do the same thing across the board. Women are supposed to serve your husbands, but men are supposed to serve their wives the way that, anyways. Everybody always stops that and just says the women are supposed to serve their husbands. There's
But they don't
another
read the
part of
next
the
line.
scripture, right? And I don't think there's anything wrong with being a servant. I don't. So when this came across my feed, I'm like, man, I always struggled to talk about this, and this talks about it. So let's click it and see what it says.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna save it and discuss this later. There's more to it.
A servant not only serves, but knows how the one they love is best served.
Do you think I know how to best serve you?
Most of the time, I think that we're still navigating my borderline
Yeah.
and like bad scenarios because I haven't had a real bad episode yet. I kind of had one the other night, but like we haven't got to experience a really bad BPD in our lives yet with me. So in most things, absolutely. We are at a point now where there is a lot of unspoken language happening between you and I, and there's a lot of things that happen without us having to verbalize shit. And when you have that and you know your partner on that intimate of a level, things are a lot different.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot harder to hide those bad days. It's a lot harder to hide if something is said that leaves a distaste in your mouth, because you've learned that nonverbal communication so well. And then you also have to worry about the repercussions of those things, because in the event that something happens that sets me off and you realize that I'm set off and you think it's something you did versus something else that's happened because the communication's not there.
Right.
It can be a problem too, but knowing how to serve your partner is fucking huge.
It is.
And hearing that, like, I just really like that dude. That was another one of those videos that I just put in here so that people would have to hear it, kind of thing.
Right.
This is Victoria Doss. This is Henry's wife. He is i.am.king.henry on TikTok.
Yes.
I am a huge fan of these people. So I put this one on here because I wanted you to hear it.
Okay.
Our house is not spotless all day, every day, by any means. But I at least make sure that when my husband comes home from work, our living room is clean and tidy. So, like, he doesn't need to walk in from a stressful job and come home to a stressful environment. The least I can do is make it peaceful.
Go.
Damn right. The two spots in the house, well, now three because we have the podcasting room, but the two spots that I make sure are clean every damn day is where you sit in the living room and the kitchen.
Yeah.
Because you are walking through the kitchen constantly, come back here, and I don't want you walking through chaotic mess. And then I make our bed every single morning. You have your clothes on the side of the bed, but our room is pretty much clean. That way, when we go and lay down, you just have to get in the bed.
Yep. There's knowing that you're coming home to a peaceful house instead of a war zone, and knowing that there's going to be cleanliness and that things are going to be the way they need to be, makes coming home on bad days a lot easier.
Yeah.
You don't have to stress. There's no real like, fuck, I really don't want to go home and have to deal with this shit. Normally it's a phone call as soon as I get in the truck. I'm like, man, I'm really having a fucking day. And then we talk about it on the way home, and then I come home and the house is clean and there's greeting of love and kiss and like talk and discussion, and you treat me the way a wife should treat a husband, not the way a wife who acts like a mother and nags treats somebody that they can't stand.
Right.
There is a I truly believe that most people don't like their significant others
I agree.
because of the way they treat each other. That their TikTok, for those, you can see that their tag is on there. I think it said Henry and Victoria Doss, DOSS.
Yeah.
He's a little more extreme, or extreme is not the right word because I agree with everything that he says. He's a little more stern, probably, in the way he talks about things, or aggressive maybe with it.
I would say aggressive. He definitely chooses verbiage
Right.
to get people going.
Yeah. And well, I mean, it's working for him.
It does.
'Cause
And he's correct in everything he says.
And
yeah.
their coaching business is starting to thrive, and they're working on a podcast.
I love that.
And I would absolutely love to get them on like a 4-way Zoom call when they're ready to do that.
I feel like we would have so much fun with them on a podcast.
I think we would too. I actually message him every once in a while about random shit, send him TikToks, and
Yeah.
like it's kind of cool to have that with another creator that I don't know, especially because we have the same belief system.
Mm-hmm.
He is definitely a lot more. He's a lot more. He's more well spoken than I am.
Yeah.
And he doesn't swear, at least in his videos, which I kind of envy because I do. But there's a lot that goes into that. I think that a lot of people will see that video and be like, oh, why would I do that one? You know what I mean? Like, he can come home and clean. He can come home and do this shit. Like, keeping the sanctity of your home, your castle is important.
It really is. And when you're having bad days, it's not really related to the cleaning, but it's creating a safe environment or like a peaceful environment for a man to come home to. When you call me and you've had a hard day, I'm making biscuits and gravy for dinner.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make you
I'm
your
having a
favorite
really
meal.
bad day.
I make really good biscuits and gravy, guys.
Yeah.
But I will go above and beyond to make sure when you get home, this is going to be your piece.
Yeah.
If you want a certain meal for dinner, I'm going to cook whatever the hell you want. It's not you demanding me. It's not me mothering you. That's me making sure my man comes home to a good environment that he can relax in and wash away all of the shit of the day.
Yeah. Yeah. He Henry always says that he will not allow his woman to work for another man.
I love that.
I do too, because women go to work and submit to their boss. When your boss tells you to do something and you do it because it's your job, by proxy, you're submitting to their desires, what they
Right.
want you to do. And you can feel however you want to feel about that, but that's what's happening.
It's accurate.
And when you have a woman who can stay at home and raise your children and take care of the house while the man provides and does what they do, you have a family that's working together where you're both serving. You're both servants to each other
Yeah.
and to your children. I fucking love that dude's content.
A woman working for another man and submitting like that and then comes home and I'm your wife, but I'm not going to do anything a wife does.
Yep.
I would get pissed about that as a man.
Right. And people are like, well, there's money involved. I'm making money. Well, I'm making money.
Right.
And I'm making enough money for you to have everything that you want to have in the house. So why won't you just fucking cook dinner?
Right. Something to think about. She's going to work and saying, yes, sir, but she comes home and argues.
Yep. In the hopes that you're going to be able to progress in a company that you may not work for in 5 years, but hopefully your marriage is still intact and you're still married in 5 years. So maybe you should put that a little bit of that submission towards your significant other and less animosity.
Yeah. Not saying a woman doesn't have to work or that she shouldn't work. If that's how y'all want to operate, that's dope.
Yeah.
But think you're going to work saying yes, sir, to a boss that you probably don't even like. And then someone you're married to is supposed to be spending the rest of your life with, you wouldn't even say yes to.
Yep.
Crazy.
Click.
Okay, don't take this the wrong way, but you've just been kind of hanging around a lot lately, which isn't a bad thing, but it's also not a good thing.
I think the most offensive thing to a woman is the concept of a man doing nothing. Like, if you're a man and you want to just exist without laboring, you might as well also hold up a sign that says, I'm worthless. So these are men spending weeks working constantly away from their family, pets, children, and when they finally get home, that's no excuse to slack off, but it is really clear that it takes no time at all for resentment to start forming the second this man dares sit his ass down. There is this very pervasive and haunting societal belief that men only hold value if they are providing income.
We know that that's the case because we hear it constantly on social media that men have to make a certain amount of money to even be deemed worthy of marriage, if a woman is even willing to do that. Listening to that, and I want to have a conversation eventually on a side piece about marriage because I'm having because of the way that I'm seeing things on the internet and what we deal with all the time, my view on marriage has gone very extreme.
Right, mine is changing.
But knowing that as a man, if this was all mine and you were not here and I did all of this myself and I went and worked 40, 60, 80 hours a week and came home and still had a bunch of shit to do, I could do it on my time, knowing that I can get it done on Sunday, or I could pay someone to cut the grass, or I can DoorDash and just throw the plates away, or whatever I needed to do my laundry when I'm able to get to it, and I can still have peace. So on days where I've worked 13, 14 hours in the sun and want to come home and just fucking sit on the couch until I fall asleep sitting up, not even shower, just stinking on the couch, I can. Because sometimes my workload is that heavy that I just don't want to fucking do anything anymore. And there's a lot of men who go through that. But when you come home and there's a family here and you have a honey-do list and you've got to do all these other things, you don't get to do that. And in the event that you've had that long fucking day and there's already resentment in the house and he sits on the couch and doesn't do anything else for the rest of the night, now he's a lazy piece of shit. And he's not contributing enough and he's not doing this and he's not doing that, where the workload is not the same thing.
Right.
If you have, and I'm gonna get into this in another episode, but if you have two men that do roofing, and one of them works for the company in the office dealing with insurance and billing, and the other one works outside doing the labor, the one that works outside has the harder job.
Yeah.
Is this mentally exhausting? Absolutely. This is backbreaking.
But you best damn believe I'd rather be behind that desk in the AC.
Yep. So when both of those people, if their roommates come home, one may be a little resentful that this one's fucking exhausted physically and doesn't want to do anything else. Well, I'm tired too. Yeah, but I've been in the sun all day. Back-breaking labor, going up and down ladders, carrying shit, dealing with tar. Like, I'm fucking done. I don't want to do anything else. I need to sleep. Your workload is not equal.
It's not.
Across the board. Somebody is always going to have the harder job. And if you think, well, I work too, you're not equal in your workload. There's an inequality in workloads. And knowing that 98% of men hold those hard back-breaking labor positions is something to think about when you start wanting to complain about what's going on in the house. I'm not saying that men shouldn't help, but I'm saying that for a man who works 60 to 80 hours a week and there's kids at home, coming home and being present in their child's life, the way Brandon does, for example, is so much more important than him coming home to a honey-do list and having to fix shit. Because his kids are going to remember dad working his ass off to provide and still coming home and teaching homework and playing and being a parent, versus having to go, well, I can't help you tonight with the homework, son. I got to go out here and fix whatever the fuck is broken now, and always being that.
Right.
Coming in at 9:30 at night when the kids are already in bed, not even being able to say goodnight to them, going in there and seeing that they're asleep already, only to take a shower and be too fucking exhausted to do anything where he's going to get to enjoy his time or have intimacy with his woman because he's fucking wore out. I can't wait to make that video.
That's going to be a good video.
Anything else on that before I click?
No.
Earning, working. The sad reality of this is that the reason this joke is successful and relatable to so many women is because it's societally acceptable for women to casually joke about how little they want their partner around. Me dreading my partner coming home.
If I heard you joking about me not being here, like, I don't want him around me, I don't want him to be home, and I heard that, I ain't coming home no more.
You know, I had a thread. Someone tagged me in a thread of women joking about using sex as a reward if their husband does something right, but otherwise they wouldn't put out.
I would tell you, and I mean this, and I don't care how much hate I get for it. If we were in a sexless marriage and I saw that was happening, I would tell you flat out that as my wife, you have a duty to me. And if you are not willing to meet that duty, I will go somewhere else. And I will come home and I will continue to provide for you and do all the things that I'm already doing as your husband. But if you are not meeting my needs as my wife, the one thing that is required of my wife
that you can't get anywhere else,
I can't get anywhere else,
you shouldn't get anywhere else.
Yep, believe that shit. Because I'm going to go above and beyond to provide and protect and lead and do all the things that a good husband is supposed to do. And if you start weaponizing the intimacy between us, I will not tolerate that.
No. As you shouldn't. No man should tolerate intimacy and sex being weaponized.
Yep. The idea of me providing all of this and then coming home and you not wanting me here, I would find another job in another city and I would be gone. Yeah. I would come home as little as possible. Knowing that knowledge would be the downfall of the entire thing.
Could you imagine somebody seeing that comment and then tagging her husband in it?
Yeah.
That would destroy me if I was a man.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going above and beyond to provide a lifestyle for you so you can be privileged enough to stay home and not work. And you want to say you can't imagine me coming home, or you can't stand the thought of me coming home. Whatever the hell she said.
This is me dreading my partner coming home on Wednesday in the most lovingly way possible.
On Wednesday in the most loving way I can. Oh, thank God, I was beginning to think I had ended up on the wife-bashing side of TikTok. Right, wouldn't want to end up there. I mean, it would probably feel awful if your husband was publicly talking about how annoying you are and how he can't wait to get away from you. I mean, wouldn't it just be devastating to your mental health to have someone make you feel like you're only good for your paycheck and it's better off if you're not even around? Nah, better to stay on husband-bashing TikTok where we can do it to him instead.
So if you're dealing with someone who's...
How disgusting.
It is disgusting.
That really just made my stomach turn a little bit. Outside of how shitty that was, you just posted that on the internet. Everybody knows how terrible your marriage is.
Right.
And nobody feels bad for you.
Right. And they know what kind of person you are. You remember when we started dating, how I told you that I firmly believe that women only want men for their money. And I don't mean it in like they just want to like have him pay for shit, but like it is a transactional thing. Women go for men based off of his level of income and they use him for it. We've talked about that a lot. And like I was very worried about being used and like having everything that I've built and all the things that I've established for myself taken from me or being taken advantage of to get advantage, so that somebody else can have an advantage in life. And we talked about that a lot. And that's the kind of shit that I see that reinstills that in my brain. And I know that not all women are like that because there are good women out there. Mm-hmm. But to know that that's becoming such a commonplace thing when men say that women only want us for our money and women are like, oh, that's not fucking true. And we see that more than we see the other thing. Of course, we're going to believe what we see.
Right.
That shit's disgusting to me.
It really is. Women want to get pissed about men only being with them for sex, but you just want to use them for a paycheck? That's equivalent exchange for me.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, it's a transactional situation.
Right.
And in a transactional situation, if a woman refuses to put out and he's still paying for everything, you're not even holding up your end of the fucking deal.
Right.
It's negative. The person to have the conversation is whatever side of the family it's on. So if the
bashing TikTok where we can do it to him.
Got to start that over.
So if you're dealing with someone who's negative, the person to have the conversation is whatever side of the family it's on. So if the problem is on her side, she needs to deal with that family member. If the problem is on his side, he needs to deal with that family member. If you cross that line, you will end up with a big fight and your spouse caught in the middle. And what happens is sometimes we tolerate things from family that we would never tolerate from anyone else.
I saved this because of the monster-in-law situations.
Yeah, y'all be letting your family destroy your fucking marriage.
Right. When you marry somebody, you're not joining their family, you're starting your own.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that. So in the event that one of my family members had some foul shit to say about you or to you, you don't have to say nothing. I got
Right.
this. This is my family. And in the event that your family has some shit to say about me and they said it to you or said it in front of me, I would hope that you would have that same integrity.
Well, I like to think you would know that I have that.
I know, but I'm speaking in this scenario.
Okay.
So in that whole situation, in the event that somebody in my family said something about you and I let it ride and you then had to say something, you've now created conflict for me that I have to navigate.
Not just conflict with your family, there's now conflict with us.
Right, which puts me in a really shitty situation. And that would be a decision by me shutting the fuck up and letting that happen to the point that you had to say something. And that's what he was getting at with that.
Why does Uncle Jerry always get to be drunk and annoying on Christmas? He's family. Like, well, you know what? He needs to either change his behavior or he needs to change his plans. Because what you're allowing then is the least healthy person to decide your most important days.
The motherfucker said he needs to change his habits or change his plans.
Yeah.
That's huge. You want to be an alcoholic, you can do that, and you can do it the fuck over there. You're not bringing that in my home. You're not bringing it around my kids. I don't care if we're family or not. I have set a standard in my home, and I am living that fucking standard, and I am holding everyone else in my house accountable to my standard.
Yeah.
I'm not going to allow somebody else to come in here and start undermining the things that I've done. Grandparents want to come in and go, it's okay if they have a bunch of sugar. No, the fuck it's not. Our kids don't have soda. You leave that in the car. We may drink soda. We have that bad habit. 3 and 4 years old or 4 and 5 years old, they're not going to have that bad habit. And you're not going to sneak that to them or you're not going to be in their lives because this is my family. You may be grandma, you may be grandpa, our family.
Yeah.
You are not in our family. You are a part of our family, but this is ours. That mindset is something that 99% of the people in this fucking world lack because they're told that family comes first.
Right. You know, something that is super prevalent is pushing boundaries and comfortability when it comes to family with hugs and kisses and children.
Yeah.
I don't play that game. If you don't do it either, when the kids say, I don't want to hug or a kiss right now, we go, okay, that's cool. You want a high five? You want a fist bump? We don't have to if you don't want to.
Right.
If that's a standard in our household and then grandma comes in, well, she's grandma, you have to. You're showing them, okay, well, that's not really a standard. There's an exception for certain people.
Right.
And they're going to carry that into their adulthood. Well, they told me there was an exception for grandma. I love him, so there has to be an exception for how he treats me.
Yep. I didn't think of it to that extreme, but yeah, that makes sense. Because that's exactly it, though. I mean, that's exactly it with this whole thing. You have to accept it because you're family. That's bullshit.
Right.
Our family is our household. Outside of our household is still our family, but not our immediate family.
Right.
They are by proxy. Like, yeah, I don't do that shit. And I'm not ashamed to say that, like, I won't let people stay in the house. Like, it's rare. If somebody, like, even our family members was like, hey, I'd like to come to Florida and stay with you, I'd be like, cool, I'll put you in a hotel. There's one right down the road. You can stay in a hotel. I'll pay for it. You're not sleeping in my fucking house.
Right.
If I want to not have the kids one night and have wild, crazy love making, I can't do that because you've been here for a week. No, I'm good. You can stay in a hotel and I'm gonna live my life. This is my fucking castle. This is my sanctuary.
This is your peace.
And there's nothing that's going to disrupt that. I'm not going to put myself in a position where that's going to be disrupted for me or you.
Right. Before you click. Before people in the comments, well, what about her mom?
Ain't no what about.
I have told my mom, this is your sanctuary. I'm not going to allow any disruption in your routine. This is the one place where you can come to and get away from everything in the world.
Yep.
Like you said, we can pay for a hotel room.
Yep. And that's okay.
That is the cost of our peace, and that is something we are willing to pay.
Yep. And if it's one of those things where people are like, well, that's fucked up. It's cool. You're not in our family.
Right.
And if you think that's fucked up, don't come visit. I just won't have to pay for a hotel for you.
Yeah.
Works for me. Saves me some money.
Okay, and if they're going to set the tone in culture, either you've got to have a conversation like, hey, we love you. We'd like to enjoy you. These are some things that we're asking. If you can't agree to those, you don't need to come. And if the family doubles down and says, hey, you can't say that, you can't deal with that, we just sort of overlook that. And you're like, you know what? Not my family, not my kids. I don't want my kids in that environment. That's not working. So you know what? Either things change or we're leaving. We're not going to be there. We're going to exit out.
Not my family, not my kids.
Right. As a man, it is our duty to set a standard and to lead our family. And if somebody in my family is doing something that I think is going to disrupt my household, it is my fucking duty to stand up to that. And in the event that it's your family and we discuss it, it is your duty to stand up to that. And in the event that you are not able to stand up to that, I'm going to be the one that does it. And
it's going to be a lot more nasty.
It will, because I don't have the emotional attachment to your family that you have, just like you don't have it to mine.
That's a lot of things women don't recognize. Your husband is never going to love your family the way that you do.
Nope.
So if you don't handle it, he will. And if he handles it, there's going to be a lot of rifts going on. Y'all treat it like it's a game, and it's not.
Yep.
Is losing your marriage worth having your drunk aunt come over every Thanksgiving?
Some people don't see it that way. Some people think that when you marry, you're marrying into someone's family, and you're fucking not.
No.
You're not. You are creating your own. That is the whole point of that. And when we're old, right, and the kids have kids of their own, and maybe if we're still alive when there's great grandbabies, I want to be the house that people come to have that Christmas time. And if they're not willing to come here, I hope that I am still cognitive enough to respect their home and their wishes in the event that I am invited over there, so that I don't have to spend Christmas with us.
Right.
But I am fully prepared in the event that they don't want us there or want to come here to have Christmas by ourselves.
Yeah, I'm ready for either scenario.
Let's go to Bermuda. Fuck
Yeah.
it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I just don't. I don't subscribe to the mindset that you have to love someone
just because they're blood.
Just because they're blood. Family and blood are correlated in most standards, but I don't see it that way. You being related to somebody with DNA is as far as that goes. You are related to them. You share a family tree, but that doesn't mean that they're your family. I have people that I love that I'm way closer to that I have no connection to in terms of bloodline that I would do way more than I ever would for anyone in my family. And it's because those people have proven themselves to me, and they showed me that their integrity matches my integrity, or that their love for me matches my love for them. And that means more to me than this, idealized thing that just because somebody's related to you by blood that they owe you something. You don't fucking owe anybody anything.
Right.
I like this dude a lot too. I found this actually I found the TikTok first, and then I went and subscribed to them on YouTube. Although I can't watch the entire thing because I don't have time to watch a whole lot of podcasts, and I prioritize my Tim Ross The Basement and my Andy Frisella. So like in the event that I'm all caught up on my shit, then I get to watch some of these other ones. But this podcast is on my to watch.
How far into this are we? How long have we been recording?
I don't know. I'd have to get up and actually look.
I have to leave in 9 minutes.
Okay, so we'll get to this one and just call it.
Okay.
Because now when I look back, I don't view it as I had a deep connection with that woman. I view it as I had an attachment to her. And once
hold on. What's the difference? You got to break down what's the difference between a connection and an attachment.
Okay.
All right, I'm just gonna stop there because there's sound in the background. I thought I removed this one and I didn't, and I don't want to get flagged on YouTube for copyright violation. That's a hell of a statement, and that statement is the first 2 years of every dating phase when you're in the lustful, rose-colored glasses honeymoon phase.
Right.
Connection versus attachment. You have an attachment to that person, thinking like, "Oh, this could be the one. The sex is good. The dating's good. We don't argue. Everything is great. Blah blah blah." And the connection is a very different scenario. When you sit down and meet somebody and you have that connection and your soul recognizes their soul, and you're willing to put yourself in uncomfortable situations and have the difficult talks, and you're willing to sit down and say some shit that you know is going to rip your spouse apart on the inside. And after they are ripped apart, you're willing to sit down and help build them back up and put those pieces back together in a way that's best for them.
Right.
Right? Like that's the connection aspect. This is actually a good video, but like the rest of it, I just don't feel the need to play the entire thing. When you make it past that 2-year mark and your obsession phases wear off and you start noticing all those red flags that are no longer off color and like they're actually things that you have a problem with, it's because you had an attachment and not a connection.
Right.
I had a pearly things after this as well, but
we'll just save it for the next one.
Yeah, I mean, I can chop this up and add it to the next list of things to record.
Okay.
Do you have anything you want to add on that?
So connection versus an attachment. When I think of a connection, I'm thinking of like neurons in the brain. That's a connection. If that connection is severed, it changes who you are as a person.
Right.
If something were to happen between us, like if you were to pass away, my life will never be the same again. In past relationships, I could always say, it won't change me.
Yeah.
You know, I moved on from that relationship and I remained who I was. If I were to lose you, I don't know what the fuck I would do. An attachment is, yeah, I'm with them right now, but if somebody else came along, it's an upgrade.
Yeah. Yep. It's crazy that a lot of people live lives of relationship attachments and very few truly have a connection.
Yeah.
And the ones who have the connections are the 20, 30-year marriages who are still in love and like lust and, doing the thing that they're doing. And people want to be like, oh, that must be nice.
Yeah,
you
it
have
fucking
no
is.
idea the amount of work that those people had to put in to get to that point.
Yeah, just like people saying you having money must be nice. Well, you don't know how you killed yourself to get to this point.
Right. And I'm still doing it. I'm not where I want to be. I'm not even close to where I want to be. Until there's a million subscriber YouTube gold button on the wall and we've got 2 houses that are completely paid off and I'm driving my Mercedes and life is the way life is going to be, full retirement.
Yeah.
Rental properties, Airbnbs, and all the shit that I want to do. I'm not there. I'm actually kind of coasting right now and have been since September. I'm not grinding the way that I normally have been because I'm trying to build something new now.
We're still finding our footing.
Right. But it's fucking growing and we're doing the work and we're doing a lot of it. And like AJ said, with the amount of content, tomorrow morning we're going to wake up, work out, go do cardio. No, we won't. Tomorrow morning I got to go meet with the money guy at 9:30 in the morning. And we're going to come home and sit down and record episode 16 and do all of our YouTube shit because tomorrow's Thursday.
Tomorrow's Thursday. Would you be upset if I did cardio without you?
No. I have to go. No. You may have to go with me tomorrow morning. I have to text him and ask because there's company changing. I'll get into that off camera. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this reaction video. It's not very exciting in terms of, oh my God, and like crazy and in-depth conversation. These are just things that I wanted to show you guys and hopefully you got value out of some of the conversation we had. And if so, great.
I hope me crying helps somebody. That was a moment for me. That was hard.
Yeah.
That was really hard. Yeah.
I think I'm gonna set up a Discord chat that allows people to leave videos for us to react to.
I love that.
So that we have something that's not just us, because the videos that I want to react to are more just to get the information out and less talking.
Right. We need talking points.
Yeah. So
I feel like that's where the real information starts coming out, when we do our back and forth and brainstorming.
yeah, that's why I put the pearly things on here at the end, because that was going to be the big in-depth conversation. Some of these were just to skip through kind of thing.
I know a lot of women don't like her. I enjoy Pearly things.
Yeah.
I've watched her content and I can see how people are put off by her because she's young and she's never been married, and she is very about putting men in the forefront. But there hasn't been anything she said that I disagree with.
Right. I think the problem that she has with people is that, or the people have with her, is that she's very matter of fact. She's statistic driven, and people want to operate on feelings, and she doesn't do that. And when you operate on feelings and you come sideways and she's got the data to prove otherwise, she's going to call you on it.
Yeah.
And people don't like to be called on their shit. That's why I have that on the end of this. I'll clip this and we'll stop it on this video. So the next reaction will pick up here and we can add a bunch of shit to it. But while you're going to get the kids, I'm going to get it on Discord and create that.
The thing.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
and maybe edit this. Well, this doesn't even need to get edited. I just got to cut the end and the beginning off and then throw it together. All right. We'll catch you guys on the next one.
Bye, guys.